out! It's the brand new Previews Exclusive Mezco 1/12 Collective Hal Jordan Green Lantern action figure. Badass! I always like the figures that come in the cookie tin. This one's green, it's got a lantern symbol on the front, Mezco 1/12 Collective down the bottom, his name at the top, just in case you didn't know who it was based on the big symbol on the front. Both the bottom and also the top have the Green Lantern name on them, while the left side has another Mezco 1/12 Collective logo, and on the other side we have MezcoToys.com. On the back of the tin, we can see all the accessories we're going to get on the inside. We have all these different pictures down the bottom that show the figure in different action figure photography scenarios fit for Instagram. And overall, we have a pretty cool looking design layout. Opening up the tin and looking inside, well, you can see you get these because they fell out. The lantern battery instructions and how to use it, along with this piece of paper that comes with every single one of them. We also see that the first layer comes with the figure and the prominent accessories. Let's just move the tin out of the way and remove this plastic to make for the better picture. Behind that, we have the base, the arm, another lantern symbol for his chest, and the little Ziploc baggie. So Hal Jordan comes with an absolute plethora of stuff. He comes with a whole whack of extra hands, including a smoke, star, shield, blast, and energy ball effects, and also 2 interchangeable heads. The regular straight-faced looking Hal Jordan that I'm sure that most of us, when he's just standing on our shelf, that's the one we're gonna have on the figure. And then the secondary one, the more emotional, angry, ticked-off looking one. Green Lantern also comes with another symbol that you can just put on his chest, like that, although I'm not really sure why they included it. As well as a little baggie that you can put your weed in. I kid! The little baggie is for putting all the other accessories in. Hal Jordan also comes with a very ornate looking power battery, one and the same that came with John Stewart Green Lantern as a matter of fact. The lantern itself is battery powered, so lantern plus batteries plus ring equals hours of light up fun for the whole family. But really, all this extra stuff would be completely useless if we didn't have this fantastic figure. Doing that slow toe to head with this Hal Jordan figure, we can see that Mezco has been up to their old tricks again by taking a classic comic book styled suit and then complicating it up with more design elements and details and bits and pieces that were never there in the original comic book source material. As for those extra details and changes that they made to the suit, I'm kind of 50-50. In some ways, I feel like it really benefits the figure, and in others, I feel like it kind of gets in the way. Like, honestly, I would not have designed this Hal Jordan figure to have the green down here below the belt area. I would have left that all black on the legs, and the same thing with the arms. Right down here to the shoulders is fine, but this extra piece here and this green stuff, and heck, even this here, didn't really need to be there. I don't think they really help with the overall design or look of the figure. So that would be something I would do different. And then also the boots on this Hal Jordan, they're white. Why are they white? Why? However, I don't feel like Mezco's extra detail work is necessarily always all that detrimental. The basic suit itself, over the shoulders and down around, going around his waist, coming down to a point right here, I feel like that's the basic comic look that they did manage to grab, and so the lighter green details up here actually aren't that bad. I'm okay with it being here. And there is extra detail work on the gauntlets as well, but I feel like that works. I'm not really gonna complain about that either. Now, it's worth noting that some of the basic design elements of Hal Jordan are exactly the same as John Stewart. They both have the exact same extra hands and wrist gauntlets, as well as the sculpted detail of their boots, both being one and the same. And also, not only are the lanterns on their chest exactly the same, but they both share some of the same kind of similar design elements. Not exactly the same, but definitely similar. For those of you unfamiliar with the articulation that you get from a Mezco 1/12 Collective action figure, he's got a bobbly ball peg head, as well as a ball joint in the torso, and down here in the waist. Put them all together, and that's about how far back you're going to be able to squish his body to get him into a flight pose. The shoulders, as usual, are on rounded ball hinges. There's also butterfly hinges in there, a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and rounded hinges right there in the wrist. We know what they do. They do this, and they go around in a circle. These figures also have pretty good articulation in the legs here where they connect to the torso and the groin area. They've also all got a swivel right here at the top of the leg, but it doesn't always show very well. Double jointed knees, which always crunch up really well with Mezco, as well as his dumb ugly white boots being on ball pegs, so there's a lot of motion and articulation there. And even when I paint them green, there's still going to be a lot of articulation there. One thing to keep in mind is that because there's actually a fabric suit over this guy, those articulation points aren't going to be quite as useful as they would be if this was just a regular old plastic figure. The fabric does get in the way, so just keep that in mind while you're posing this guy around. For a comparison with our subject today, I have him alongside some other Hal Jordans you may or may not find familiar. DC Universe Classics, DC Essentials, on the other side it's NECA, and then DC Icons. And then also just to round out the Hals, we've got a classic Hal from DC Direct, DC Collectibles New 52, a DC Animated Universe version, and a Greg Capullo. And look, I actually got him to stand. He never stands. That's what he usually wants to do. Now, as far as getting the band back together, we're almost at a complete Justice League. And here I've added John Stewart and Shazam on both ends to round out the DC Comics heroes in their comic book inspired appearances. So I guess now's the time, because we've looked at pretty much everything, that I would share with you my final thoughts and opinions on this figure. Is it worth the time and the effort and the cash to go and track this guy down, or should you leave it where it is? On the shelf at your local comic book retailer, or in the warehouse of your favorite online collectibles shop. So what do I think of him? I like him. I mean, sure, the suit is a little bit too detailed for my liking. I would have at least made the details on his lower legs and his upper arms black if you wanted to gutsy up the figure anymore, and I'm not a big fan of the white boots, as I've said previously, but none of those things are details that would cause me to not buy this figure. I think that he's a fantastic Hal Jordan figure, and I think that it's pretty awesome that we now have a Hal Jordan Green Lantern to round out our classic Justice League. I mean, sure, we still need Black Canary, Martian Manhunter, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Zatanna, but Mezco's working on it, and give them enough time and they may actually end up releasing those characters. Based on the success of their current releases, it will ensure that we see future releases. Now, being truthful, I do know that there are some people that feel like all Mezco 1/12 collective action figures are just too expensive, and sure, maybe they could be about $10 or $15 cheaper, but in the end, what we are getting here is import quality with excellent quality control in general, with fabric, cloth goods, uniforms, and an absolute butt ton of accessories. To expect these to be sold for $30 or $40 or even $50, I just don't feel like that's realistic, because they're a smaller company and they make higher quality work for older, more discerning collectors with just a little bit more spending cash to add the pieces to their collection. Anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you found this review helpful, useful, an interesting, entertaining waste of time for the day, if nothing else. If you have, you know how the like button works, and you know how to leave a comment. That would be absolutely fantastic. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. It was good to have you, and if you decide to subscribe and become a super friend and join the DC squad, that's awesome. If not, then hey, thanks for joining us today. And for those of you who are longtime viewers of this channel, remember, I've got a t-shirt shop down below, so every dollar I make off of t-shirts goes directly back into supporting the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.